Well, the Gaggia Classic has been around since 1991. It is one of the very first home espresso machines that ever came onto the market. And so it stands to reason that it should appear in a lot of top 10 lists of best espresso machines to buy for home. But now in 2023, going into 2024, does the Gaggia Classic still hold up? I'm Ryan, your coffee coach. Let's take a look. So you know how much I always talk about Rancilio Silvia and the invention of the home espresso machine and how critical it was leading us to where we are today. Well, Achille Gaggia, who started this company in 1958, has created something that I also think is iconic. The look, the feel, the quality. This machine is perfect for home users with a small budget and who aren't really a fan of all of the gadgets or automatic machines and want something that's really usable, still getting you great espresso, but doesn't necessarily have to be at the touch of one button or necessarily in 1 minute, or have all of the digital scales and everything built into it. This machine is simple, and there's a reason why now still my #1 go-to machine to tell people to buy if they have a little bit of experience or are really interested in learning coffee and understanding it really well, but don't have a huge budget, want a machine that'll last you 20 years, this is the one. Not much has changed. However, there is one thing that is different. This is not the Gaggia Classic Pro that has been around for the last 20, 30 years. This is the Gaggia Classic Evo Pro, which is an evolution of the Classic. Now let's talk about what comes in the box. There isn't a lot, it's a bit light on, and I have to say, this is one of the areas that I'm a little bit disappointed in Gaggia for skimping out on. I know that they're making it as cheap as possible, and I appreciate that they've managed to get this for such a cheap price. But a scoop, plasticky scoop, okay, whatever, that's no biggie. But this is a tamper, and we are in the year 2023. We shouldn't be making plastic tamps anymore. Aside from the environmental problems that making these plastic things do, these just aren't ever useful. And on a commercial quality machine, to be delivering a appliance type tamper that really cannot deliver what you need it to, I just feel like there was a mistake. When other machines are delivering, even the Breville's now start delivering this slightly heavier aluminium based tamper. I feel like that's the bare minimum that you should be getting when you're buying a commercial machine quality like this. So really go get yourself a good tamper. There's so many out there. Now it has two types of portafilter baskets. You have your pressurized ones and then you have your non-pressurized ones. The pressurized is for pre-ground. So if you don't have a grinder, and I really recommend you get a grinder if you're going to buy this machine, spend a bit of money getting a grinder. But if you don't and you can't, then it comes with this, it just sits in your normal portafilter, goes underneath your basket, and then that creates the pressure to be able to use with pre-ground coffee. So that's important to note. If you don't have a grinder, take that out. It comes standard packed, so if you do have a grinder, make sure you remember to take that out, otherwise you won't be able to grind any of your coffee fine at all because it will be too fine for this. But I would swap it out and I would buy yourself a better basket as well. The basket that comes with it, it's okay, but it's something that you can definitely upgrade. A double basket, that's a precision basket without the pressurized basket underneath, and then you start making freshly ground coffee every time. Yeah, other than that, it comes with a single basket. Again, I don't believe that you should be using a single basket just because the tapering edge there does mean you don't get a clean tamp and you're never going to get a purely even extraction. So that's something to note. I just use a double basket. Even if I'm making a single coffee, I'll just cut the shot a bit short and give yourself a double ristretto. That's about the same intensity, same amount of caffeine, but you don't need to extract the entire amount of caffeine from it. They've done a few different things. There's not a huge amount of difference between the two, the Classic and the Evo, but this particular one does have new internal components, which if you're an engineer, you'll love. They've changed it to the brass inside. It still has the aluminium boiler, which might not be you want. They've changed the portafilter to be completely stainless steel now. So this used to be a chrome-plated brass. Now it's completely solid stainless steel, which means that it's a lot more durable. The other thing that Gaggia have put inside is a patented thermostabilizer, which just gives you more temperature control, not quite like a PID. It doesn't allow you to set the temperature, and it doesn't have the same level of stability, but a very unique patented version of their own, which does help stabilize. And I have noticed it using it. It's a lot easier to stabilize. There used to have to be this whole rigmarole with pressing buttons, doing your steam, purging your hot water, running it back, pressing a button, letting it cool, then making your coffee. Now, once the machine is hot, all you need to do is press that on, give it 5 to 10 seconds, wait for the light to go off, give it another 30 seconds, and you're good to go. And it's that easy. Very, very soft water. Of course, all the classics that you need to make espresso are on the machine still. So you have your rocker switches, which are really actually quite lovely to use and satisfying. So you still have your normal steam one, which produces the hot water as well. Just be careful, it's not a no burn steam one, so you can still actually get yourself on here if you have pressed the steam one on. Unfortunately, because it is a single boiler, like a lot of single boilers, they don't have the technology to be able to extract coffee whilst also steaming milk. So that's something that if you're wanting to do both simultaneously, you need to know about this machine. It just cannot let you do that. But it only takes about 40 seconds for the boiler to heat up your steam. And then once you finish using your steam, if you want to make another extraction again, it's about 40 seconds for it to cool down again. So it's not a lot of waiting time, but it's something to take into consideration if you want to do both things at the same time. One thing I really noticed about the new Evo is how good the finish is. The paint job on there just makes it look that much more elegant. The other paint jobs were fine, they weren't bad, but I just look at this and the matte finish is so perfect, just makes it look expensive. The water reservoir is about 2.1 litres, so it's a good amount. However, I do notice it does chug a lot of water on every extraction, so it releases quite a bit after you press it off. It does release a bit of water. You do chew through a lot of water, and when you, obviously with your steam, it's a little bit on the wet side, so you do notice that you use a lot more water making the steam there. However, easy to fill. There's one access through the top, and you can access it also by taking out the tray handle here and pulling the whole water container forward and filling that up. So that makes it nice and easy. Well, that's the machine in its essence. Now I get to get my hands on it, get dirty, and make the coffees on there and see how good I can get them to come out. There's a lot of talk going around about machines and how fast they are to heat up. And there's ones out there that can heat up in 3 seconds and ones that are out there in 30 in a minute. And it's something that I wanted to talk about because obviously this is a single boiler. It takes a long time to heat up, about 10 to 15 minutes for it to pretty much heat up properly. That's okay, because once you understand why you need to leave your machine on for 10 to 15 minutes anyway, it doesn't matter if it heats up in 3 seconds or 15 minutes, you need to be aware that the most important thing that needs to heat up is the actual metal of your portafilter. Because if that is cold, and your machine's ready to go in 3 seconds, it doesn't matter. The energy it takes to heat this will take away from all of the energy needed to extract those lovely oils from your coffee, making it taste very sour and weak, and so not very pleasant at all. So this needs to be touch hot. You shouldn't be able to hold your finger on there, and that's when you know your machine's ready, and that usually takes 15 minutes. So the Gaggia, even though it does take 15 minutes to warm up, it's not a problem. You can get a timer, put it on the wall, and then that will just run itself in the morning, turn on before you're awake, and then you come out to a nice ready to go machine. The machine itself costs about under $500 US, about $850, $900 Australian. And really for its price point, there's nothing else out there on the market that can beat it, because every other machine out there that's got 20 years longevity built into it, and these really do last. Like with a couple of services you'll get, there are machines from 1991 that are still out there in the market, still working, and they will fetch a fair amount of money because they're kind of collector's items now. If you want that for under 1,000 Australian or or 500 US, something that will make you professional, 58 mil commercial parts. Everything in here is commercial part. There's no computer boards that will break, no digital displays that'll die. There's nothing in here that can really go wrong. Any part that needs replacing can easily be replaced by yourself or taken in to get serviced, and that might cost you a couple of $100 and you'll get another 5 to 10 years out of it. So these machines really will never die. Yes, they are simple, they don't have PID, they don't have your pre-infusion, they don't have your standard profiling, pressure gauges, things like that that might help you make the best coffee. However, this is the most solid build, and if you're looking for something that's just gonna last and you're not fussed about all of the fancy features and fandangled benefits, then this machine is perfect for you. And I just have yet to find something out there on the market that will beat this machine at its price point and what it comes with. Yes, you can buy appliance machines that are a lot cheaper. They might last you 5 years. This will last you 30 plus years, and it only costs you a little bit more. There's only a couple of gripes that I have. They are very minor. I really don't understand why Gaggia just brought out the exact same model with a few minor improvements to the stability and the core of the machine rather than adding any extra features, which I know a lot of people are after. So if you're listening, Gaggia, and if you're interested in making a machine that might make the market, you could add a PID and a pre-infusion and add a few extra features, and this would fly off the shelves, because I know from talking to my customers how many people want those extra features just to make their lives easier, to make their coffee easier in the morning. Not everyone is a pro barista, and so some people just want to be able to press a button and get a relatively great coffee. So if you're listening, Gaggia, there's some feedback for you. It's great that you've invented the Gaggia Classic, great that you have evolved it. Now we'd like to see a model that sits somewhere between this and your commercial line so that people can get really great features on such a fantastic solid build machine. The other thing that really is a bit of a disappointment is the handle. It's the only part on this whole machine that's plasticky. It's really light and just doesn't feel quality at all, even though the weight of this, and this is solid, this just makes it feel really tinny. And I noticed that Rancilio have redesigned their handle and they've made a really nice ergonomic, really nice feel, rubbery feel to it, and I think that made that machine look a lot better. It would be nice to see Gaggia do the same with their handles. However, having said that, most people really love to get their Gaggias so that they can mod them and upgrade all the parts. There is a huge community out there with naked portafilters, timber accents, for your steam one actuator. You can get nice little wrap skins around the sides. You can get so many different upgrades, and you can definitely mod it with a PID. The other mods in there you can actually get is a little piece of software which you can put into the machine and let it, and then starts to measure different variables for the coffee extraction. This modding community is so huge. There's so many things you can do with this machine straight out of the box that most people, engineers, love getting their hands onto this machine because they can pull it apart, mod things, add things, remove things, fix things, and just keep it going, create all sorts of things. If you're into that, then the Gaggia Classic is perfect for you. I really think there's not much else that I can complain about in this machine at all, and I only hope that down the track that they do release something a little bit more advanced just to sit in that next tier up, so that this is your entry level and then you have your mid tiers. Well, you can see now why I still think the Gaggia Classic, even the Evo, but just the normal Classic Pro either as well, is a fantastic first buyer's home machine. If you have any love for coffee and you want something that's going to last and you don't mind a little bit of manual prep and a bit of understanding, then the Gaggia Classic is the perfect machine. And if you have been a barista in the past at any stage, then this is going to be even more valuable to you, because this is like working on a commercial machine but at home. Most of you who have worked in cafes before will really appreciate how good the quality of the coffee is from the Gaggia Classic. That's my review. There's a reason why I gave it a 9 out of 10 on my list of what coffee machines to buy under $1,000 this year. There's your answer. I'm Ryan, your coffee coach, and as always, enjoy your brew.